Hello, hello, family. How is everybody today? I am Chelsea. I'm gonna be your host for tonight because Mia's at a conference, and she's doing some amazing things and gathering some more information so she can bring it back to you, help you with your finances, build that healthy relationship. So we are going to dive right in today. As y'all know, we are already reading the 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power by the infamous Dr. Boyce Watkins. So it's really perfect how she has me hosting today because I work with kids. So I'm a milestone guru with the Early Achievers, formerly known as developmental consultant. So with that being said, we're diving into chapter 3, which is going to be on page 57. It is building sturdy children. So we're going to read that. And please forgive me if I pause and we emphasize some of these things that Dr. Boyce Watkins has written, because I think that we really need to make sure we're paying attention to what he's saying, and where we can implement some change and do some things different for that next generation. Okay, so page 57, building sturdy children. In our wealth building programs for children, I often talk to parents about the kinds of kids we must build in order to control the 21st century and beyond. The problem we have today is that due to our overcommitment to sending our children to inferior and racist educational institutions that brainwash them with the wrong ideas and drain family wealth, we end up confused as to why our children are not prepared to compete. Let's keep it simple. Okay, I like this part. I highlighted this because I had this book for a while. You can never compete with any adversity if your adversity is the one that is, or that your adversary, excuse me, your adversary is the one that is training you for your competition. Don't that make sense? When you read it out loud, right? So let me read that again. And hey, Natasha, I see you in the chat. Let's keep it simple. You can never compete with any adversary if your adversary is the one that is training you for the competition. Because why would they train you to beat them? That makes sense, right? The thing you must understand about capitalism is that not everyone in the capitalist system is trained to be at the top. Most are trained to live at the bottom to prop up those at the top. We know this. That's nothing new. That's not anything that we're blind to, right? So we got to remember that. So moving forward, from a socioeconomical standpoint, there is no group that is more consistently expected to maintain the bottom of the American capitalist system than African Americans. The entire country was built on our labor and also our stolen land. So I hope you understand when I make it abundantly clear that Black people have no business being educated by people who are not Black. Period. Hey, Jen, welcome, welcome, welcome. This doesn't mean that our kids can't learn from other cultures and even engage with them. But the formative knowledge, base, and value systems of Black children should be defined by Black people, period. That period's not in there, but I'm throwing that in there for y'all. So let me continue. This means that one of the keys for Black people to claim our sovereignty, love that word, must come in the form of Black-owned educational systems. In this system, I've always advocated that we must build what I refer to as sturdy children. And so if y'all don't know, some of you guys haven't come to or seen Dr. Boyce Watkins, I'm going to need y'all to get it together. But with that being said, he talks about sturdy children. And so sturdy children stands for the following: systems, technology, entrepreneurship, relationships, and delegation. And the letter Y is an acronym to make you help you remember it. So, and here's why we must build sturdy children from the future. And just for those who are coming into the book club now, we are now on page 58. Systems and understanding of them are critical when it comes to tall tasks of fighting systematic white supremacy. The racial inequality in America exists because there are systems in place that keep Black people in our place. You have the criminal justice system, the economic system, the educational system, the healthcare system, the professional sports system, media systems, and more that keep Black people oppressed and exploited in every way. That's every part of our life. we have to find a way to create our own systems, because living in systems that were not designed for us, again, our adversary is not going to help us thrive. So we got to be able to be mindful when we're teaching our kids, and if our kids are going to those schools, that when they come home, you pour into them a little bit, pour into the culture, pour in your stories from your when you were a childhood, pour in stories from their grandmother, their grandfather, so that way they have that sense of pride, that sense of who they are. They know who they are, right? And in it, there's nothing wrong with. I love Dr. Boyce Watkins. My son is in his program. He's teaching my son money, from crypto to real estate to finances to stocks. He's been introduced to all of it, right? So we got to start educating our kids and making sure they have a sturdy foundation to be able to move through these systems until we create these better systems for them to operate in. Let me go ahead, and we're going to talk about systems. Systems and understanding of them are critical when it comes to. Oh wait, did I read that part? I read that part. My bad, y'all. My bad. Okay, I got excited. Page 59 now for everybody in the chat and everybody in the watching live, or if you're watching this later. Page 59. You can't typically fight an entire system with one super leader. That makes sense, right? That's a lot of pressure. Black leadership often fails because it's nothing more than a hero worship of one or two men who we believe can solve all of our problems. We've seen that happen in history. Shout out to our amazing leaders who have fallen for our cause, and we appreciate that. Oh, thank you, Natasha. He is going to be a powerhouse. I appreciate you, and I know you're sending him all those vibes. I love you, sis. And this makes things easy for the government that is incredibly good at discrediting and even killing symbolic leaders. Excuse me. Let me pose a question to the chat before we move on to page 60. So, do you think that Malcolm X and Martin Luther King were cut short or before their time, before we were able to accomplish everything that we needed to accomplish? Do you think that we would have, better yet, do you think we would have been able to break out of these systems if our brothers would have been able to be alive and continue to fight with us? That's the question that I want to pose for the chat. I want to see what feedback we can get. He is an adopted nephew. I love you. So think about those questions. Think about those questions that I'm asking, because if we can believe in them, we should be able to believe in ourselves. And we should be able to pick up right where they left off. And I know that these systems have been ingrained in us a lot longer. But we should be able to pick up where they left off and build from there. Let's see. So still on page 59 for those coming in. We are on page 59 of the 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power by Dr. Boyce Watkins. Instead, leadership must be done through systems. Systems are the keys to wealth and power in America. Systems don't just create one really successful Black man and a good job. The system can create 1 million Black men and women with excellent economic opportunities. Young people can think in terms of systems. Who can think in terms of systems don't just become successful, they can also gain the ability to spread their success to others. And that is exactly what we need. I love you. I love you, Jen. Y'all over here fighting over Carter. If he only knew, got the ladies coming for him. Another Black leader in the making. Okay, so let me continue. Young people who can think in terms of systems don't just become successful, they also gain the ability to spread their success to others, right? So those who control systems don't just earn a high income, they also become enormously wealthy. So, right, there's a difference between being rich, you're able to pay some bills, do some things, go on vacation, and being wealthy, right? And I think with wealthy comes a responsibility, especially within our community. And I think that's something that we have to always remember. We have a responsibility with the power that we're given. Most billionaires in Silicon Valley didn't get rich by working hard. They got rich by building systems that fed their bank account while they were sleeping. Whew. I'm on my way, Lord. I'm on my way. Sturdy kids must be trained on systems. We got to get them trained on systems. It has to be purposeful. When we're interacting with our kids, it's got to be purposeful. It's got to be intentional, so that way they can grow. And drop in the chat if you're doing anything amazing with your kids, especially because it's summertime. Drop it in the chat what you're doing with your kids to help elevate them to the next level, to make sure they're not regressing during the summertime. Because as an educator, that is definitely a thing. And we try to prevent that, right? I work 0 to 3, so that's my demographic, but I know we have some teachers and educators in the chat and moms and dads who know how it is. So drop it in the chat what you're doing with your kids to kind of help keep them elevated to the next level, stay on top. Sturdy kids must be trained on systems. This allows them to earn money efficiently without exhausting themselves with impossible amounts of labor. Systems also work much harder than any human being ever could. That's why you got to set up these systems so you're not exhausted. Natasha says, my daughter is an adult, but I still advise her on her investments. There you go. There you go. And she's still able to learn from you. That's what you want. You want your kids to still be able to learn from you. I love that. I love that. Okay, we're heading to page 59, y'all. Page 59. Okay, so we're going on to the next acronym, part of the acronym. So S was systems for sturdy. S is systems. T is technology. Technology is the next key in sturdy systems. Technology runs the world, don't we know it? And we've seen it more now than ever with AI and everything that's being automated and all these things that are happening. I'm going to say that. So technology runs the world. This has been true for 100 years and it's going to be truer forever. Very true. Those who learn technology first are the ones who are able to win wars and earn wealth. Win wars and earn wealth. And we're not just talking wars in a different country. We're talking wars within systems. Okay. So when you have a system that is trying to hold you back, if you are accumulating enough wealth, let's say you're sick, you catching a cold, you need to go to the hospital. If you don't have those funds, that makes it a lot harder for you, right? But if you have those funds to allocate towards that, your life becomes a lot easier, excuse me. And I say that to say money is really a tool, right? We have to remember it's important to get it, learn how to steward it and keep it, but use it purposefully. It's a tool. It is a tool to build wealth, generational wealth, not only for yourself, but for the people that you love within your community, within your village. I talk a lot about my village. So within your village. So let's get back to it. Let's see. So we want to win wars and earn wealth. I know y'all out there want to win wars and earn wealth. I love that. The existing narrative, often fed through media, is that Black youth are last when it comes to understanding how to use technology in a productive way. Now, using the latest iPhone to surf social media, we got that part down. But when it comes to learning about all the ways that technology can sustain you and your family, our children must be well ahead of the curve. Again, what are we doing with our kids during the summer? How are we keeping them elevated? How are we keeping them above the curve? How are we making sure that we're engaging them every day with something that's intentional, whether that's a reading project, maybe that's my son did a lemonade stand this summer, right? And everybody was supportive, even those from different states, you know, and we mailed some treats, but he also did lemonade. He did lemonade and Rice Krispie treats. Very simple things, just allowing that entrepreneur spirit and that skill to set in. I sat back this time. He's a little older now, but giving him the ability to make eye contact, to be able to be a people person and understand what that is to serve. Because as people, we're here to serve. And the best way to learn that, perfect it, and to get better at it is to do it. And whether that's a lemonade stand or him running his own business, he's getting practice now. That's the goal, right? So I do, again, drop it in the chat. I want to know what y'all are doing with your kids. All right. And we are still on page 60 for anybody just joining us. And we're also reading 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power by Dr. Boyce Watkins. Those Natasha's in the chat. She just said those Rice Krispie treats were good all the way. I'm glad they got to you. I'm glad they got to you, and I'm glad you and your daughter enjoyed them. That's what's up. And thank you guys so much for supporting him. He was really happy to be able to ship a package. I get to ship a package, and that's just another layer of it, right? Like, he gets to ship a package to a sister friend of mine who is in a different state. That's letting him know, like, okay, I can ship these packages. They get to go to different places, and my product is arriving there. Like, just all the different aspects of entrepreneurship. It was really fun for him this year, now that he's older. And again, he's been doing it since he was 3. So just sprinkling it and sprinkling it and sprinkling it. Baby steps, y'all. Baby steps. Okay, so let's keep going. Again, page 60. I suggest that you encourage your children to understand the latest technology and try to understand how technology feeds into systems that run our society. Okay, so for example, major companies like Google, Microsoft, and other earn billions with the B, billions, because their founders were well versed in the latest technology, and or they created it. You know, it goes both ways. It goes both ways. All right. So the E, I apologize for that for y'all. The E, so we've got S for systems, T for technology, and E for entrepreneurship. Look at me segueing into it. Mind y'all, I didn't already read this book before, but segueing right into it, right? So the E in sturdy stands for entrepreneurship. This is extremely important. Our community as it stands has a massive oversupply of Black people searching for jobs. This has been our long-held role in America. Ecosystems going back to slavery. Excuse me. And let me reread this. Let me just make sure I read this right. This has been our long-held role in America economic system, going back to slavery. Listen, I don't know about y'all. I'm not trying to go back. I don't want that for you, me, my son. I want us to continue to push forward in the right direction, and we just got to pick up where some of us left off. And by some of us, I mean the brilliant minds of Black Wall Street, right? If it can be built once and twice, it could be built a third time, and we can continue to thrive. Hank succeed in that. And let's see. Okay, page 60 still. Many of our children are simply born and raised to believe that many of our children are simply born and raised to believe that their sole purpose in life is to work for a white person until they die. No, thank you. No, thank you. So we send our best and brightest to white-owned universities so they can pick up life debt of student loans. Also, they can be certified to work for a company run by someone who doesn't like them very much in the first place. Just sit with that. These systems are forcing us to force ourselves to be around and to be employed by people who don't like us. All because of the color of our skin or inferiority. I mean, listen, we do some things really great, right? So you might be intimidated, but step your game up. Step your game up. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, we on to page 61. Let's see. Let me finish off this last sentence on 60. So we send our best and brightest to. Nope, I got it. My bad. This strategy is disastrous for many reasons, starting with the fact that this process only serves to make white people rich and Black people poor. It also creates a large number of health and socioeconomic problems as Black people stressed out about racist microaggressions become crab in a barrel, beating up on their women, disrespecting their men, and bragging about who got the best opportunity from the white man. Yeah, come on now. Come on. We moving up, we doing better. But Dr. Boyce Watkins hitting on some things, right? So again, this is a book we reading. And me, I hope you proud because I'm getting us through this book. I know we were talking and there was some dialogue on all the guests that we had recently, but just know I'm gonna get us through this book. Oh, look at somebody shouting me out. Thank you, John. I appreciate you. Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you. You can come back and watch the video and or check out Mia James. She is super amazing when it comes to creating healthy relationships with finances. So she is definitely an amazing financial wellness coach, and she is mine. So I can speak to her greatness. But thank you. All right, so let's jump back into the book. We are on page 61. So, what the Black community needs for entrepreneurship, lots of them. There needs to be as many Black boys who want to start businesses as there are Black boys who want to play sports. Period. It's a period there, but he didn't write it like that. Y'all know what I mean. There should be as many Black girls seeking to start companies as there are Black girls who want to start hair salons. Black-owned business development is the war cry for our generation. For we are in communities that must find ways to employ our own children. We have to find ways to employ our own children, whether that's you creating the next hair salon and having your daughter come in there and work until she gets to take it over. That's passing that down, right? Let's franchise that. Let's have family conversations, family gatherings. When it comes to getting your finances, yes, talk to Mia, but don't just you talk to Mia. Have your mom talk to Mia, have your brothers, your uncles, your sisters talk to her so that they can start to build that healthy relationship with their finances. A wellness coach isn't just there to talk to you about money. They're really there to make you understand money, right? And the power of the tool. So again, let me try and finish. I'm gonna try and let me see if I can get through sturdy. I don't know, Dr. Boyce Watkins. He writes a lot. He's thorough, and I like it. But okay, so we need our children to be sturdy. We need our children in our businesses. So systems and technology are the first two letters of the sturdy system. Feed into entrepreneurship in a very basic way. When you understand systems and the latest technology, it's much easier to become an entrepreneur where you are both self-employed and also have the capacity to create jobs for other people. Yes. And then also relieve some of your stress. And then that also relieves, that gives you the opportunity to pour into the community. And then that also allows for someone else to have a great idea and to you to partner with. There's so many amazing things by being able to contribute to the village. Natasha says, I dealt with that working for a Black person too. Thought I was too high and mighty. Ugh. And that's unfortunate. Sometimes it'd be our own people, Natasha. Sometimes it'd be our own people. And that's unfortunate. And you got to walk away from those situations too, because you got to know your worth, sis. Okay. So the next letter is, we had systems, technology, entrepreneurship. That next letter is that R. And the R in sturdy systems represents the word relationships. Again, segueing right into the village, right? Black people often have a hard time relating to one another. I don't know why, because we all going through the same struggle. I read through social media and see one post after another of people fighting or bragging about how many people they cut from their lives. This makes me sad, because if we don't have each other, we don't have much of anything. Very true. The ability to nurture and maintain healthy relationships is one of the most important skills any human being can have. I'm gonna have to highlight that. Hold on one. Look. Again, I read this book, but reading it again, you find little nuggets that you got to put in there. So this is especially true when dealing with a family or community filled with traumatized, easily triggered people. Very true. Therapists have written thousands of books with a laundry list of tactics, skills that can be used to help overcome difficult situations, choose the right relationship, and know how to maintain enough peace between parties to get something done. Amen. Healthy relationships matter. They matter when it comes to wealth, because wealth building is a team sport. And if you don't have it, I don't know if y'all have the book, but look, let me let y'all see this. Look, it's a team sport. It's capitalized. It's a team sport. It's no I in team. Who Patrick Mahomes gonna throw the ball to? Right? City flicker? How you gonna do a city flicker with one person? You can't do it. And I might be dating myself by using the city flicker. Y'all don't judge me, okay? Just know that was the first thing that popped in my mind. Low self-esteem, insecurities, childhood trauma are some of the reasons why we fight each other. Natasha, nail on the head. Absolutely. Absolutely. And if we are not creating those proper coping skills to release some of that trauma, get some of that healing going, and I ain't even gonna say some of the healing, to get the healing going, if we're not doing that, then that's just a cycle that we live in, right? And so we got to find ways to, one, have grace for people and forgive, but also we as the person who's being forgiven, we got to find ways to get some help. Find somebody who can help you talk through a situation that you're uncomfortable with from your childhood. You're an adult now. Being vulnerable is a great skill to have because it allows for you to be human, and it's okay to be human. That's part of the healing process. So to anybody out there with some childhood traumas, Natasha, like I said, you hit the nail on the head. Anybody out there with some childhood traumas, please feel loved. Please know that you're worthy. Please understand that you deserve healing. Don't hold yourself captive in that trauma. That's from years ago. You are a different individual. You're an adult now. Walk in the space of the man or the woman that you want to be. Okay? All right, I got a couple minutes here. Let me see if I can finish this page out. Again, we're on page 62. 62. All right, let's see. Healthy relationships matter when it comes to wealth because wealth building is a team sport. I'm reading that for you again because I don't want y'all to forget it. You cannot build economic strength in a community filled with broken families and busted relationships. You just can't. You just can't. There's no trust. If you don't have any trust, how can you build something? And if you do placate that trust, it's being built on a rocky foundation, and we want it to be solid. It's got to last. I marvel at the number of people I see on social media who brag about all the loved ones they've cut off, who never realize that under the right conditions, these enemies could have been your teammates. One skill that sturdy children must learn is relationship management. This comes in the following forms. Okay, let me read these. It's a couple. So get your pen and paper out, write them down. Knowing who to have relationships with, that's one. Knowing how to build relationships with the right people, right? That piggybacks off or land backs off of number one. Knowing how to maintain and feed those relationships in a healthy way, keeping boundaries, understanding how to communicate, all great things. Number 4, knowing how to repair those relationships when they are damaged. So if trust is broken, understanding some people don't heal just because you said sorry. People need to see action, right? Understanding, again, communication. Verbalizing is great, but if that person doesn't take verbalizing as their healing mechanism, they might need some action, and that action might take some time. You just because you say sorry doesn't mean somebody has to forgive you. That's also one thing I want y'all to think about too. So just being mindful of other people's their feelings and how they operate as well, right? But setting boundaries for yourself. So knowing how to repair those relationships when they're damaged, knowing when to cut ties in a manner that is respectful and non-destructive. I agree with that 100%. I know he talks about, other people cutting people off. Sometimes you do have to cut people off, but that don't mean you got to drag them through the mud. You don't have to talk about them. You can still love people with a 10-foot pole. You can still love people from afar. It's a thing. It's respect, even if they have hurt you, even if there is trauma. And it's not a necessity, but it's possible, right? Because all things are possible. So I'm going to leave us right there because we're on page 63. For everybody coming back next week, Monday or Wednesday, Mia will be back again. She's at a conference right now, gathering all types of amazing tools that she can bring back to her clients. So please get on her list. She is my financial wellness coach. She can be yours as well. I like to share her. So, that's what we do. But she does give you an opportunity to get right with your finances, create a positive and healthy relationship with them. I'm going to head out. She will continue this next week. Again, I am Chelsea, your milestone guru with the Early Achievers. Please check me out at theearlyachievers.com. Website is on its way. We are transitioning from developmental consultants, so you will see us. Thank you, Natasha. I appreciate you. I love all the love that came through the chat today. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you, John. Y'all out there, have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. Think about those things that you can do with your kids this summer, okay? Thank y'all.